Brett Perigo, tonight's second place finisher. Plenty of fans here, Brett, and a solid second place finish.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Turn 2 Terribles over there. They're all a bunch of good guys to hang out with, talk to. I really like them.
How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm talking here. You know who you're talking to? Macho Man! I'm on my way to Monday Night Raw.
How do I want to answer the second one?
Your choice.
It's a trap.
I feel like it is. I feel like he's setting up fights in the front stretch is what he's trying to do.
Speedway. Got Devin Gordon with us
At Keen Motorsports Shop here with Kyle Keen.
Sitting here with Sean Keen. We're going to talk a little bit about racing history.
Yep.
It is Monday, February 9th, 2026. What's going on? I am Jimmy here with Jay-Z. We are the Turn 2 Terribles. Thanks, everybody, so much for tuning in tonight. Got a great show planned for you. Buddy Schweibinz is going to join us. Young driver and coming up in the 410 ranks here. Going to be running a lot of Central PA this year. We're going to talk to him about that and a lot more, get to know him a lot more. We had the World of Outlaws kick off their season down at Volusia. We're going to go over what we saw there, some surprises, some disappointments, just kind of how the season got started off. We'll go over that. We'll talk some other local news and stuff like that. And at the end, we'll kind of do like an off-season drinking and dump it. We're going to bring it back. Just kind of anything that we had from over the off season that you want to give a cheers to or dump one out to. That's what we'll do at the end of the show. As always, thanks everybody so much for tuning in live. Steph, Magby, Mandy, what's going on? Started a little bit earlier tonight, a couple minutes earlier. So see you guys starting to pour in here. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And if you're listening the next day, we really, really appreciate you guys checking us out anytime. If you're at work or on the road, we appreciate it. We see you guys very, very much. So, Jay-Z, man, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm good. Nice little early start for us. We're usually about 8 minutes late, so it's nice to be a few minutes early. So wherever you're watching, hit the like button, share it out, tell a friend, get some more people watching. And Jimmy, I think you already mispronounced his name once, and we had one chance at it. Did you mispronounce it already wrong? Is it Schweibinz or Schweibinz?
Is it Schweibinz?
I don't know.
I forget already.
It is. Well, let's find out again.
You
literally
I do that all the time. And I overthink the pronunciation of people's names, and then I end up saying the wrong one. Let's bring him in right now. Buddy, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Did I say it right or did I say it wrong?
No, you said it wrong. Schweibinz.
It's Schweibinz. I'm sorry, Buddy Schweibinz, everybody. I'm very sorry. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Hey, so whenever we have a new driver on the show, I kind of start it the same way. Well, there you go. Biggest Buddy fan ever. There you go. Look at
Yeah.
Buddy. Oh, that's actually good, Buddy the Elf. Uh, so give us like, listen, I'm literally don't know these answers. I tell people all the time on here that I don't do research, maybe to my own detriment. I don't know. Maybe it makes our show shitty, but I like to not know. I like to not like know ahead of time what I want to ask. I don't really, whatever. So you being first time on the show, new to us, tell us a little bit about your racing background, your family's racing background, if any, or if not. And then how did you get messed up in this racing deal and, the journey to get you where you're at today?
Yeah. So I think my family's racing background starts with my pop-up. On my dad's side, just ran street stocks mostly at like Bridgeport. And then my dad and my uncle both raced motocross, actually. And then not until my dad was older, he got and ran sportsmen's and modifieds. And then he ran until I was probably 3 or 4. So like 06, 07, he stopped racing. And then when I was young, I started to do a little bit of motocross, but my mom put an end to that really quickly, wanted a roll cage around me. So I started quarter midgets when I was just about 6. I ran those until I was 9. Then I ran the 2-stroke micros until I was 13, got into 600s, ran for Mike Fossey. And then in 2021, I had my first 305 sprint car season. And then I've ran with Mass. This is really my 5th year, even though we didn't really run the full series. We had 3 consecutive championships with them. I always loved racing with them guys. It's kind of sad to get away from them now. But dabbled in the 410s this past season, and now we're doing a full season, so I'm really excited.
Man, I got to tell you, you have a smart mom because getting your ass off those dirt bikes was probably the best thing to happen for you.
Yeah.
Because there's a 100% injury rate on those things. So
Yeah, that's for
probably
sure.
the best thing that happened. Now, I mean, you were super young. Do you still dabble in just motorcycles in general, dirt bikes, and that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, me and my sister will go ride sometimes. I haven't that much recently this past year just because we've been so busy. But yeah, if I have some free time, I like to go out and ride.
And tell everybody where you're from.
Petersburg, New Jersey. I'm like really far south, South Jersey. So any of those PA tracks is like 3.5 hours.
Well, you better get used to that ride, my friend, because sounds like you're going to be making some appearances. So, I got to be honest with you, and I've heard your name, most of the last year or two. I don't know if I ever saw you race until this past year that I remember, but one of them that stood out to me was, did you run a URC race last year at Bridgeport?
Yes, I ran 2.
And did you win one of them?
Yeah, I won. It was the first race I ran with URC this past year at Bridgeport. It's when USAC was there too.
Yes. Okay. So that race, I caught that race, and I was like, this guy just whooped their asses. And I'm thinking, am I behind? Did I miss something? Where I feel like I'm a pretty good follower of the sport and in our region and what the hell's going on. And this guy just kicked everyone's ass. And then you kind of came to PA, and then I started looking like 305 record, and I'm like, oh. And then you came to PA, and we're like, holy shit, what is happening? And now, boom, you're here. So, the 305s. You said you won the 2 championships in a row, or 3.
3.
3 in a row. And then the 360 ride, was that your 360 or was that someone else's?
So it was our car, but it was Bob DeVault lended us the motor to run. So that's how that all came together. He also ran 305s with us too.
So what did you think the first time getting in that 360 and going around Bridgeport? Because you ran a lot of laps at Bridgeport in the 305.
Yeah.
What was it like kind of going there? Did it have to slow down a little bit for you at first? Or were you kind of like, yeah, I got this?
Yeah, definitely first time on the track. It's a little bit quicker for sure. Mostly just notable at like the end of the straightaway, But yeah, a few laps and got under my belt, and I feel like I adapted that pretty quickly. I think there was a bigger difference getting in the 410 for sure.
And that's what I wanted to go to next. And there's definitely progression, but I think no matter what you do, that 305 to 360, it's faster, but you can adapt. That 410 level is a different animal. It's a lighter motor, way more horsepower, way more throttle response. So,
Yeah.
what was your first 410 race?
It was Ceilings Grove. I think they had the twin 20s. I
Yep.
think it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where Jimmy was there that night and watched you and was like, "Hey, you had just, I think, not long before, won the 360 race, I think." And do I have the timeline right here? You won that, and then a couple, like maybe a few weeks later.
I think it was maybe a month, about a month. Yeah. So
Okay.
a few weeks.
So you were on my radar, and then I heard you show up at Sealands Grove, and Jimmy's like, he's up here battling with dudes that like been here a minute, and it was like, oh shit. So Jimmy, you were there that night. So
Yeah.
kind of what were your observations, and buddy, I kind of want to get your point of view then. Kind of let Jimmy run with this part a little bit. You go to Sealands Grove, and it's not like you just dipped your toes in a 410 here. You just were like, okay, I'll go fast. So Jimmy, kind of what did you see? And I'd like to hear Buddy's perspective.
Well, I know because I think you went to the back of the first feature, and you just ended up passing cars. And I found out from Aunt Bay, who was like, "Oh, this is his first 410 race." I'm like, "That's pretty wild for." Track was fast that night. There wasn't a ton of cars there, so it was a good chance to, imagine to get out. But for your first 410 race at Sealands Grove, you were passing cars and getting up there, and it was really impressive. It didn't look like somebody who's just first race in a 410. Was that your first time to Sealands Grove too?
I ran there a few times, only
Okay.
in a 305. I'm not sure if the URC race that I ran there was before. I think it was after that, to be honest. But a few times.
But I thought throughout the entire night, it looked like I said, at first, it even looked like it was like your first race at a 410, and then you could just kind of saw just something I was keeping an eye on, and you were just making your way up through the field and running clean and running fast. So, how was that as your first 410 race?
I can tell you it was definitely fast. Ceilings Grove. I remember because even the 360, they kind of like level out a little bit because you're so wound up there. But the 410, I remember we were on the back stretch and we went green for hot laps, and I come down the front stretch and it's just like it just doesn't stop pulling, man. And dude, I got to that straight, I was like, we are flying. But that place is so much fun. It's so much fun. I really enjoyed that race. It sucks that we did have so the first feature we actually had we were overheating, which we ended up finding out we had a blown head gasket at Lincoln the next night or the next week. So the first feature, I just started it and I pulled off, but the second feature I had to start at the back.
Right.
And yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun for sure.
So then, you get into that, and then you decide, let's go to a short track and let's see how that goes. And I was there the first time you were there, and I remember the heat race. You were really like kind of battling with like Freddie and during that heat race, and kind of like being a pain in their ass, to be honest with you. And I was like I don't know, but I feel like I can like make a good judge. I've seen a million laps at Lincoln. I've seen a lot of people come in there and struggle, and I was kind of like, man, this kid kind of gets it a little bit. So what were your thoughts with Lincoln and that day, the little bit you did get to run?
Yeah, so the first race at Ceilings Grove, then the Lincoln the next day was a massive switch up, to say the least. I think most of that night, like in hot laps and the heat race, I really just struggled with, you come off the corner and it pushes so bad, and just getting used to like you can play with the throttle out there because the track's so small, and just getting used to that. And it's pretty narrow, so I did struggle with that a little bit. But yeah, I feel like I got going pretty good in the first time we were there in the heat race. Felt pretty comfortable, and yeah, it was really cool to battle with them guys because I've obviously never raced with them and watched them forever. So I remember lining up next to Freddie. I was like, oof, I'm gonna have to follow him or just get going really quick.
And that's tough, right? Because it's like, man, you got a lot to learn, but you also don't want to just roll over and play dead and let these guys go by and do their thing. So, I think there's a little bit of everything there. You want to keep the car upright for sure, but did you learn a lot with, obviously, aero isn't as big a deal as it is at like a Sealands Grove, but I mean, like you said, it was pushing off the corner, but using the throttle and, did you get enough laps to feel like, okay, I could come back here and feel better next time?
Yeah, for sure. Me and Jeff have been working for a long time, so that helps as well. And he drove in the past, and he kind of drove similar to how I did. So like we're very understanding with him watching the car and my feedback when I get out. So right away, I mean, I we definitely had something to work with setup wise. Um, so yeah, I want to go back because I think that first night we actually ran pretty decent. I think we were right outside top 10. But the second time we went back, we had the motor problems, and I haven't been back there since. So it's definitely a place I want to get back to. You got to be up on the wheel there, so it's a lot of fun.
So you said Jeff was a former driver. Jeff, what's the last name?
Jeff Foote, he ran oh my gosh, Jasper Sprints at like Bridgeport.
Okay.
And he used to work for the Harris car when Freddie and Lance drove it.
Nice. Okay, so the 410 then, so you had a 360 that was obviously someone else, as you said, but whose 410 was it?
So that's a joint venture between like my race team and Rory Janney, which is Janney Electric. He also races 305s. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the name. So that's a joint venture between us two. So that's how that is.
Okay. So as we look into 2026, obviously you were watching the show, what, two weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and
Yeah.
we were like, oh, there's been an announcement. So I had to go find your social media and be like, okay, there it is. Shame on us. But tell us a little bit about your 2026 plans. Sounds like there's a busy schedule laid out on paper.
Yeah, so we have 62 races, and the majority are Williams Grove and Port Royal. I think we have a few Sealings Grove and Bridgeport trickled in there. But at the Grove, I'm gonna be running John Westbrook's 1W, which is cool. That car's been around forever. And I'm just excited to race the Grove. I've only ran there, I think, just one time in a 305, but I'm sure that's not that comparable. So that'll be a fun one. And then Port Royal on Saturdays. It's gonna be a long weekend because we'll be towing our car up Friday nights and then staying overnight and then heading to Port Royal on Saturdays. So it's gonna be definitely a busy year. I think the most races I've actually ran in a season before this year is maybe 30. So I'm going way above that.
So yeah, that's a lot, right? And
Yeah.
obviously things will change, whatever, and that's a lot of time away from home. That's long weekends. That's two different cars, and getting making sure logistics are right. So,
Yeah.
You haven't experienced it yet, and you don't know what you don't know. So, kind of, is there anything that you're already like mentally preparing or physically, or is there anything that you've started to kind of do in the off season that someone has guided you and said, hey, you need to be going and doing these things?
I think it's just a lot of preparing in the shop, and there's a lot of I like to watch a lot of GoPro footage. So it's been a lot of watching, past races, patch any inboard on car cam I can find. I've been watching and just trying to learn from other people before I even get there. And I've ran a few races at Port. I ran URC this year, so compare that race and just look through our notes and see what we have, and just you want to be prepared as much as you can before you show up to the track. So really, just that.
I would I would be interested to follow you around your first night in 410 at Williams Grove, and when you come in and go, hey, how was that? How'd
Yeah.
that feel? Because you like you said, you know how to get in the pit area maybe, but that's about it that you can relate to so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
From what you're about to experience. So with that schedule being, are you planning on being at opening day at Williams Grove and basically just go?
Yeah, so I think that's March 22nd is their first race. So I'll be there, and I think we're gonna practice at BAPS a few times just in Westbrook's car to, just see what I like and how he sets it up, and, just try to figure each other out before we get to the Grove. But yeah, pretty much they're gonna show up and I guess wing it. See how it goes.
Was it a joke? Was that pun intended? Okay, so with the schedule, with all that to put together, is there any plans on going back and running any of the Gotta let the puppy out.
Dog's barking at me.
It's all good. Any plans throughout that to also go back and run any the 305 stuff or 360 stuff sprinkled in there if there's time, or let's say rainouts happen? Is there any contingency plans of going, hey, I don't care, give me a race car, I'll go race it?
Yeah, so I'm not really sure with the 360 because we did end up hurting the motor at the end of the year at Sealings Grove. The last race that we ran there with the 360, and URC doesn't seem to have much of a schedule. So I don't really know what our plans are with that and what Bobby intends to do with our motor yet. But 305 wise, I think we're keeping our car. So if there's rainouts, we might end up venturing out to a mass race. And but if there's not many rainouts, then probably not going to be going to any 305 races all that often, unless we have really unfortunate luck with our motors. Which I hope we don't, because we had some pretty bad luck this year already, and we only ran 5 races. So
Yeah, that's the one thing you can't really account for is luck. Go ahead, Jimmy.
I see on your schedule you have tentative Knoxville Nationals. What
Yeah.
has to go right to get out there and give that a shot? And do you any idea of maybe doing the 360 Nationals out there?
Yeah, so that, I think Port Royal is probably the closest track you could really get to Knoxville in Pennsylvania. So really just see how our results go there, and if we're comfortable and maybe running up front, that's probably something we might go do. It's obviously dependent on sponsors and what kind of money we can bring in to go there. But I'm not too sure about the 360 Nationals. That's a long time being out there for a team like us. So probably not on that. But the Knoxville Nationals, the 410s, yeah, just really see how our results are at Port Royal and see how comfortable we can get, and then we'll decide when it comes time.
So the your car, your family car, we had a picture of it I put up last year. It was late in the year, whatever. It was pretty plain white, 35. Any idea or scheme or what you're doing with your car? Kind of leave it the same and hope sponsors fill the wing, or what's the plan here?
So we're gonna make it. Have you seen any of my 305s or 360s? What they look like?
Like
I feel like I should.
The black, red, and white.
Red or black. Yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna do something like that. Just different design itself, but same colors. It's gonna be a little less blank this year, but not completely full, obviously.
Well, that white one.
I
didn't see a lot of the
Yeah.
black car, but the white one just happened to be, the way I saw it there. So
here's an example.
There we go.
Right there. Yeah, so it's going to be something like that, just a different design. Got to switch it up.
A couple fan questions, Jimmy.
Yep. Before we get to that, I do want to ask you. You posted a video of you battling with Donnie Schatz at New Egypt last year. We got to interview Donnie Schatz at the National Open last year, and it was just like one of those, whoa, like this is a legend of the sport moments. That how it felt like for you. How was that whole experience of running the Outlaws there at New Egypt? And you ran really well.
Thank you. Yeah. So my whole childhood, I've like Donnie Schatz he's the guy I always looked up to. I always thought it was so cool how he could just run straight through the slick, kind of like he was doing at Volusia again. So I've always looked up to him, and just to race against him was something itself. But being able to actually race him like side by side was just completely like unreal. I really never thought I would be able to do that, and but it was really awesome. Like I was very nervous for the Outlaw show. That was my fourth or fifth race in a 410, rolling out there with the Outlaws. Luckily we were at a track I have some laps at, so that helps. But man, what an unreal feeling! Like that was just so exciting.
Santos asked, anywhere someone could get some Buddy merch?
Yeah, so I do have a website now. I just made it not long ago. It is in my Facebook bio. But
we'll get it shared out on our page. We'll share
Okay.
We'll share it out after.
Okay, and my mom, if you guys are going to come to the track, my mom comes and we have a tent. We don't have a trailer, but she comes and sets the tent up, and we sell merchandise at the track. She won't be there all the time, but she'll make it as much as she can, and I will post when she will be coming, so it will be on my Facebook.
Cool. There you
Well, if
go.
she's going to go to Williams Grove, you got to watch out. There's certain places you can't put up her stuff. You'll get in trouble. So just be aware. That's
Okay.
that's a Williams Grove insider joke there. So I don't want you getting fired from your own car or
Mm-mm.
something. So yeah, so keep an eye out. We'll share out your socials on our page, so people can try to get some website traffic going for you.
Matthew Bird asked, "How did you pick your family car number?"
Okay, so I'm kind of a copier. My original car number in quarter measures was 22 because I was obviously a big motocross fan and I liked Chad Reed. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
stole
Chad
that from
Reed.
Chad Reed. And then we ended up buying a quarter midget from Andrew Lacer. And he was number 35. And we got the car and I just liked the way it looked, honestly. And we kind of just adapted it from there. And I've had it ever since. So.
I mean, I would say your 410 career starting, you have the chance to change your number and make it, this is your chance. I'd say you're there. If I think the 35 looks
I'm
good. I think
keeping it.
I agree. The
I
font
like it.
and the scheme looks good together. Yeah.
Brandon Zirk asked, "Do you practice on iRacing?"
I do. So I used to just have my, little desk setup that I always used to play on, like most people. And then Rory has like one of the motion simulators. I did post a video of it on my Facebook, and I've been doing a lot of that. It's got like the VR and everything. It was kind of like weird at first. Took a little bit to get used to. I was moving and get out of it feeling dizzy and all sorts. But once I got used to it, it's been a lot of fun, and it does help. So yeah, I practice on iRacing a good bit.
So you put a lot of laps at Port Royal in so far?
Yeah. Put a lot of laps there, but a lot of laps at the Grove. A lot of laps at the Grove.
I mean, we're big iRacers, and the Grove. I can't say I've ever raced a real car on Williams Grove. I know the visuals are there,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen a lot of real races race like they do on the sim in real life.
Yeah,
Port Royal, we see some of that. Now I think Port Royal, the cushion builds weird on iRacing, gets real bumpy up in the top of 1 and 2. I don't see a ton of that in real life, but I've seen races on iRacing look similar though I do in real life at Port Royal. There's a lot of like lines and similarities there. Williams Grove, if it ever got that wide in 1 and 2, I think we would all have a heart attack.
Yeah, we would have problems probably. But with the Port Royal 1 and 2 on iRacing, when you get up on the top with the motion sim, it doesn't like it. So I gotta watch what I'm doing there.
So it'll be flipping the whole thing over.
I'm like getting a concussion from it or something.
Yeah, I can only imagine like it bottoming out and slamming down and then bouncing up. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Motion sim. That's a lot. Did you so you've ran laps at Lincoln on iRacing. What did you think? You've ran some laps. I mean, you've ran laps at Port Royal too, but visually, does it seem similar when you sit in that cockpit on iRacing? Is there a lot of, I mean, what do you think from a visual standpoint?
Actually, on iRacing, I think that Lincoln seems smaller than it does when you're actually in the car. I don't know if that's something to do with the in-car. It feels slower, but in my opinion, it seems smaller on iRacing than it is in real life. But going into turn 3 definitely feels pretty similar compared to iRacing in real life, I think, especially visually wise.
Yeah, I've always wondered that some of the references of like size of the race car versus the racetrack, like the what am I trying to say? Just the relative size of the cars versus the track on some of them. And Lincoln,
Yeah.
Again, I haven't raced on Lincoln, but I feel like what you're saying makes some sense at Lincoln, that the cars are all too big or the track's too narrow or too small.
Yeah.
Like front stretch.
It's one or the
really
other. I'm
short.
not sure which one it is, but yeah, it seems narrower and just shorter, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the other questions here, Santos, your preferred driving line, are you a bottom feeder guy, or would you rather be on the fence?
I don't know. I do kind of both. I think pretty much. I enjoy both because like it's nice when people are hammering the top and you can roll it straight through the middle. And then, it's nice when people run on the bottom and you can go up and hammer on the top. So really, whatever's faster, I think running through the middle is definitely more rewarding because it's harder to do, I think. Um, so I don't know. I think I say running through the middle. Like I like running through the slick. I'm good with slick track. So
So he gave you two options and you picked a third. Fair enough. I like it.
yeah, yep,
One of the things I wonder, you're a younger guy and you're kind of coming up through, and you said you're watching a lot of in cars and this and that, but are you a sprint car fan? And is there someone, your favorite driver or someone you really like to watch? Maybe that's a favorite, but then is that a different driver maybe that you've been watching and studying on, like, here's how I can go get better, or is it the same person?
So I would say my favorite driver has probably got to be Donnie Schatz because I've liked him since I was super young. But I like Deweese. I like watching Lance. He doesn't have many onboards, so can't really study much there. But I watch a lot of Macri, especially at Port Royal. I'll watch him. Um, so like if I get watch a replay of like Flow, I'll try to look out for Macri, or like Dietz is good there too. Lance. So one of them three I try to watch. And really just you just got to study how they race. I've never raced them. They've been racing each other for a while. So just see what kind of moves they make. And, when you get on track, you got to know where to go and kind of predict where they're going to go.
I was telling someone over the weekend, or the other weekend at the racing show here in New York about, studying drivers. And if you're a young driver and, some of these guys that kind of go study and learn from and go, and your answers are 100% right. And the guy that I picked out of that list was Chase Dietz. And,
Yeah.
he's a younger guy. So, he's a veteran kind of, but he's also still on the younger side. And I've seen
Yeah.
him run the bottom. We've seen him run the top. We've seen him do a little bit of everything and make speed and time trial well. And he was one that I thought of as like, hey man, that would be a guy that I would be like, hey, go watch. Cause he's not always over the edge. Right. And he can pass cars. And the other one was Danny Dietrich, cause he does it in a totally different way.
Yeah.
Right. There's lots of different ways
Yeah.
to make speed and pass race cars, and they both do it differently. And I think there's a lot to be learned from both of those guys and the skills that they have. But then also, again, I think they like a completely different feel in a race car. So,
Yeah.
if you don't have a style, then one of them may not even work. I mean, kind of how do you watch some of those things and watch a driver and go, that works, but I don't know if that's me.
Yeah. So Dietrich is, his car just like sits weird compared to everybody else's. So like for me, I can look at his car and tell what he likes kind of. And then like, let's say Macri, I can look at him and tell what he likes. So it's a completely different feeling. I think it's just the matter of the fact of understanding what you like and understanding your car. And then you can kind of see that in other people's car. And, if you can see that someone's car is, kind of the same balance as yours, that's someone you really want to watch for, and you can really study.
And in the off season here, you kind of talked about the 1W and prepping to run Williams Grove with those guys. How much time have you spent with them? Have you been to the shop? Do you put your seat in? What does that prep look like in the off season with John and his group?
So me and John are on the phone quite a bit ever since we got the whole ride figured out. I've been in the shop. I was just there on Friday. I've been there. That was my third time there. I've been trying to go as much as I can. It's just quite the trip. So you got to make it worth it. But getting the seat in has absolutely been a hassle because I run a Butler belt and we're trying to get the XC gear mounted because we're running the monkey bar system. And the way the seat comes back, we got to cut it out. And, I've just brought the seat back. I got to cut it out. But once I get back up there, we're going to be straight. It's going to go right in. We got it where it's supposed to go. So it'll be nice and smooth once I get up there the next time.
Yeah, the off season is kind of long, but you run out of time quick. BAP's first test
That's for
is
sure.
second week of March.
Yeah.
So it won't be long. We're getting there, and I think by then maybe we'll be thawed out. I don't know. We'll see.
I hope so. I'm ready for this ice to go away.
It's kind of crazy, actually. Jimmy, what else you got?
Robert Jones asked, "Hey, buddy, what racetrack do you like? What is probably your favorite racetrack that you raced on so far?"
I kind of can't say New Egypt Speedway. Um, I really used to hate that track, but it's slowly become my favorite. It's a shame that they closed down this year. I was hoping that maybe the Outlaws or somebody would schedule again there. But I would say that I, I I like the D shape of it. There's a lot of different lines you can run there, and it gets slick. And but if I had to pick one in Pennsylvania, I would have to say Port Royal probably.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like you're excited to get up to Port Royal this year.
I am.
As are we. As are we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If as you looked ahead at the schedule and kind of looked at it, you're Port Royal, Williams Grove. There's a lot of big races. Is there any one race that you're excited to be a part of? Maybe we're gonna have a question later about the one you want to win, like the biggest race you want to win. Like, hey, I want to win that. But is there a race that you're really looking forward to this season that you're just gonna be like, hey, I cannot wait to be a part of this?
I have to say the Weichert probably. I'm really excited for that. But really, just most of the high limit races, I've never ran with them yet. It's just a big learning curve to run with all them guys. But yeah, if I had to pick one at Port Royal, I'd have to say the Weichert.
Yeah, me too. That was one I just picked out last week. We kind of did our top 5 races we're looking forward to, and the Weichert was on my list, even though that's a big one. That's a kind of an understood. Man, that race is really becoming like everyone wanted to win that bullhead, whether it paid 20 grand to win. Now all this
Yeah.
big money and that, man, that has become an event. So shout out to Port Royal and Flo and High Limit for getting that going. So, my question that I ask every driver that comes on the show, I think it's time, Jimmy. I think
Yeah.
it's time. 2 drivers. You got to name me 2 drivers right now, and for whatever one of them you love racing with, and this could be from any level that you've done. It doesn't have to be a 410 guy or a big name. It can be anyone. Someone you love racing with, you've always had a great time, you enjoy it, and someone who's been a pain in your ass to race with over the years.
I'm gonna have to go with probably just people from Mass here because I've raced with them for 5 years. Say I love racing with Eddie Wagner that runs the series. Me and him can always race clean and super hard, and usually doesn't end up bad. But he's really fun to race with, especially when we get out of the car and he usually yells at me for passing him or something. But I think the biggest pain in the butt would probably have to be my girlfriend's brother, DJ Tanner. Yeah, he's just a pain to race against. I don't have anything else to say.
That's fair. Listen, and we've gotten that question. I preface it differently sometimes of like, hey, it doesn't have to be like, I don't like this person. It just can be for whatever reason it is, right? We've had guys that are really like running the bottom and they just don't like running against other people that run the bottom.
Yeah.
They don't dislike them, but girlfriend's brother. Yeah, that can be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be mutual. I don't know. That could be mutual. Same thing, So
it probably is. It probably is. I would have said a 410 driver, but I've never really raced with any yet. So
yeah, it'll be a different answer at the end of the year. Before
we'll have you come back in like October and ask this again. I think.
Yeah. I think so.
I do want to ask. This is a big jump in the 410s and trying to do a full season. Everybody has different kind of goals for what they set out for themselves. What for you? What are some of those goals? And like, what would you consider a successful first full season? What do you think you need to accomplish to reach those goals?
Obviously, I would love to get a win. I think that's a very high goal, though. Just from the short few, I mean, it's tough. These guys have been running forever, and they're really good. I think the biggest goal is just to build our notebook, and try to catch up to these other guys and just get our balance right. And I think a big thing is this year for me is just consistency. Like if I could run consistently in the top 10, like that would be great for me. Like I think that's a achievable goal for sure. It would always be nice to get a maybe a win or first 410 win. That would be awesome. But yeah, I think I'm really just looking for consistency this year and not have not run really good one week and then really bad the next week. Just be consistent.
I will say thank you for going wing racing instead of wingless racing. A guy from New Jersey could go either way. We appreciate you pick the wing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big wingless fan, to be honest with you. I like it. It's still fun. Racing is fun, but the wing racing is just so awesome.
Eddie Wagner.
Eddie Wagner's in the chat. Welcome in,
He
Eddie.
is. Yeah.
Nice. Appreciate you being here.
Clayton Myers just asked, will you have room to try other PA tracks in weeks where Grove Report are off, like Clinton County or Path or anything like that? Obviously, you were talking a little bit about, rainouts and stuff before.
Yeah. We have the ceilings group trickled in our schedule. I don't have any really on even like a tentative plan for Clinton or Path. But I was talking to John and he wants to try to run maybe some BAP shows, which I really like BAPs. I think the track's fun and it puts on good racing. So I think we're definitely going to try to go there.
Yeah.
Agreed. Love that. Yeah. And listen, that can also be one of those deals where it can help you get more comfortable faster, because if you go test 1, 2, 3 times, you know the place, you've been there. It might be the track you have the most laps in by the time we get to April. Like, who knows with the weather? And you go, hey, we got some 410 shows. Let me, let's get to BAP. So it's certainly, I think, wise to have it on your radar, because hell, it might just help you get more comfortable.
Yeah, and it's nice that they run on a Sunday too. So we could go on Friday if the Grove runs, and then Saturday and Sunday maybe if possible. But yeah, I think the Sunday is good because it leaves it open. So like if we do have, let's say we run good at the Grove, it might be nice to go on Sunday at BAP. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Awesome.
So you're looking forward to doing basically a mini travel every weekend and saying, hey, Sundays too, let me have it. And then you got to go home. So what does your Monday through Thursday look like at this point?
So it's really just at the race car shop. I do not have a full-time job right now. I'm really just trying to make racing work. So I'm committing myself to that, not really giving myself another option right now. So when Rory is running, because he still runs his 305s, so I'll maintenance all of that. So I'm in the shop. I maintenance all my stuff. I do most of the work on my cars and his cars when he runs. So that's really what my week consists of in the racing season.
And you hitting the gym, working out, staying in shape?
I try to. My sister's really big in the gym. She's been trying to get me to go a lot more, but I've been on the treadmill a lot recently. That's like been my thing.
I'll say that, we're friends with some 410 guys, and listen, these 410s are physical, even though, you got power steering, but they're physical. So don't be surprised if you're like, holy shit, I need to get in the gym. And listen to your sister. Let her take you along for a while before you get going.
I know. She's been really trying to get me to go. That 30 lapper at Bridgeport, I was tired after that, I can tell you. I kind of knew then and there that I needed to get in the gym a little bit. So
less ice cream, more cardio, and lifting some weights. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Speaking of food, and before we have you, give shout outs and thanks before we let you go, both Mandy asked and Robert Jones here just kind of asked, what's your favorite food at the racetrack? What's your favorite track concession?
Ooh, I mean, it's going to sound really basic, but I think the best bet any track you go to, I think the chicken fingers have got to be pretty consistent.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't. It's hard to mess them up.
Yep.
So chicken fingers and fries is my go-to at the racetrack.
No, that's it's always a safe bet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't disappoint. It does what it's supposed to do.
Exactly.
I like that. All right. Well, we appreciate you for taking some time out tonight. Look forward to seeing what you can do here in 2026. You want to give some shout outs to some sponsors and people that are going to help you make this happen this year?
Yeah, so got to start with my mom and my dad. My sister, my little sister Charlie, Jeff, my crew chief, Mike, Tyler, my uncle Mark. And I got ABS Electrical, Danny's Pizza Pizzazz, Bet's Garage, Kreider Manufacturing, Roy Janney, got to thank him a lot. Janney Electric. Yeah, and there's a lot of people that help us out throughout the off season, throughout the year, that'll come to the racetrack when they can. So I have to thank everybody that does come and supports me. So
Awesome, man.
wouldn't be here without them.
Yeah, we appreciate you very much for joining us tonight. Good luck in 2026, and hopefully we'll see you at the racetrack and maybe in Victory Lane sometime this year.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon, buddy. Take care.
Awesome. Buddy is definitely like I said, that's kind of how this started was, hearing from, we talked to Bay, and then, just you talked about him at Bridgeport, just like we talked about earlier. And then when I saw him at Singles I'm just like, kind of just, I don't know, something, it jumps off at you, the eye test, you know what I mean? Just how the talent is there for sure. And he's definitely going to be somebody to watch once he, first year, I mean, he said it there, Outlaws at New Egypt. He's battled with Donnie Schatz in his like fourth race in a 410. Like, that's insane. That's not normal. You know what I mean?
Like 100%.
Especially at that age.
Passing race cars at Selinsgrove, battling with Donnie Schatz at New Egypt, side by side with Freddie at Lincoln. Like, I mean, come on, man. This guy hasn't even been in the car long enough to understand. And he got to do all that already in 5 races. Like, man, that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see his journey, and I hope he has a good season and can race as much as possible, because I think the sport's better off with this young talent, coming up through and keeping the 410 division rolling.
Oh, thanks, Matt. B Main's just finished for you, Zach. Thank you for the update. Well, let's get into what we saw this past week at Volusia, where the World of Outlaws kicked off their season after ASCS finished their. Is it ASCS or USCS? It's ASCS, right?
ASCS.
It was ASCS. They finished there with 360s. We saw a lot of names there. Saw some really great racing. There was a lot of talk about the changed surface there, and that just it expanded tenfold with the 410s. It was really, really fantastic racing all week, even when the track was fast. They did get out of the 4 nights. There was one rain out Thursday night, but Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday they raced. And on Wednesday night, this was a non-points race for the World of Outlaws, but Spencer Baston, first race really in the 17 for 2026, made the jump over there to Stenhouse Marshall program, gets a win, started 10th, grabs the win, first night out, over Carson Macedo, Anthony Macri, podium finish, Buddy Kofoid, Donnie Schatz, 21st to 5th, Logan Schuhart, Ryan Timms, Garrett Williamson, Ashton Torgerson, and Brian Brown, your top 10. Your hard charger was actually Garrett Williamson. He went plus 18 from 26th to 8th. Heat race winners were Torgerson, Schuhart, Gravel, and Macri. Brock Zierfoss won the dash. He ends up finishing 12th. And your quick time was Ashton Torgerson with a 13.023. Our posse guys, a couple of our guys were down there. Obviously, you have Anthony Macri, who finished 3rd. Brent Marks, he was started 2nd. It was him and Brock on the front row to lead this one off. Ended up getting into some contact. Ends up finishing 26th in this one, but he looked fast. Brock Zierfoss finished 12th. Chase Dietz finished 21st. And Danny Dietrich just fought gremlins all week down there. Ends up 12th in the B main. Didn't make the feature. But yeah, if you want to count Brett Marks, we count Brett Marks, of course. But the big talk outside of Basin with this one was the contact between Logan Schuhart and David Gravel, and on the front stretch there that bent up a frame for David Gravel, which is not something we usually see. And he was not happy after he saw the replay. What was your opinion on that?
I try not to be biased, not being a Gravel fan, but at worst, this is a racing deal, or at best it's a racing deal. At worst, Gravel doesn't know where Logan is. Logan knows where Gravel is
Mm-hmm.
and chose to not give him a break. So it destroyed a race car, at a fast racetrack. You hate to see that for sure. But I mean, I don't completely put it on Gravel. He's not going to know Logan's going to be there from where he is. But at the same time, Logan has absolutely no obligation to give him a break if he feels like he's coming down into his lane. So F around and find out? Question mark? Maybe without being, like I said, completely biased on this. At work, I guess it is. At worst, it's a racing deal, right? It happens quickly. Things do happen there, and Logan may have not realized or thought he was going to be there, and was there, and said, "I'm not." I don't know. I really don't know. It's hard to tell. But go ahead.
First race of the season. It's their first time really at speed in a feature. They're battling hard, trying to cross each other over. I could see both sides of the coin here. Sucks that there's a tore up race car, but I think it's, listen, first time you've been at speed in a race car in a feature since at least November for both of these guys, right? So, they didn't go to Australia or anything. So, just as a matter of a misjudgment, maybe a couple inches, maybe just hard racing. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
Didn't feel bad necessarily, but yeah, that was definitely the big talk about it. It's not, and of course it was on a non-points night. So luckily for Gravel, it was a non-points night, and it didn't really affect the beginning of the season because we know the points battle is every race is gonna matter, especially after what we saw here this week or this past week at Volusia.
Yeah.
Spencer Baston, though, man, from 10th. Carson Macedo was also fast, but Baston, I mean, they were battling. Macri led quite a bit of this one, if I remember correctly. And Donnie Schatz just charging through the field. He did it all week. We'll talk about that more as we go into the next two nights, but Baston was really impressive this night.
Yeah, and listen, I hate being wrong, and I'm okay admitting that, and no one really likes to be wrong, and I'll eat crow when it's due, and I did not see this happening. I did not. I mean, it's a half mile. It's a new deal. Good on Baston, honest to God. Like, I feel good. I'm happy for the guy. This is awesome for them. I think as a team, the team is never going to be like, well, we weren't sure, about Spencer Baston. That's their pick, and they hired the guy. But it has to feel some sort of like, whoa, we just did this, right? Big change. Sheldon's out, and you bring in a new driver. It's been the same for a long time, but good on Baston for going out and kicking their ass, to be honest. And I did not have this on my radar as being a thing that could happen. Sure, could it? Absolutely. Are there crazier scenarios you could come up with? Sure, but driving +9 past these cars,
very racy track for sure. Obviously, what happened with what happened with Gravel and everything too. Some of the competition, Brent Marks, some of those guys that were up there. But that's not a knock against him. I'm just saying,
he drove past these cars.
He drove past those guys anyway.
Cars and gone. Him, awesome.
We know the talent is there with Baston. I think the whole thing with Baston has just been consistency. He'll do this, and then what did he like the next two nights? He wasn't bad, but he wasn't a factor. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's just something that he's going to have to find is some consistency. But we know he's capable of winning, and he could probably win pretty much anywhere. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to watch here, and I'm sure it's great for him and that team to just get a win right off the bat, and just kind of maybe because especially get into a new ride like that, I could imagine like if it drags on for 2-3 months and you don't get a win, and it's a kind of up and down, like you're gonna feel some, you're gonna be pressing, and probably just good to be able to relax and just kind of go out and race. You know what I mean? You can do it when you do that. You know what I mean? Get to some comments here. Matt Bird says Spencer's car has an old school vibe. Love the colors. I like it. And the reflective is very nice. Mandy says, I already know we had the bold prediction show, but Donnie Schatz gets the championship this year. Let's talk about that a little bit more maybe at the end of the 3 nights, because he put on a show all week long. Clayton asks, the UMP mods were a lot, but did their races help with the surface on this new dirt? Hard to argue with the track quality for the sprint features. I, I don't think it hurt. That's for sure. I mean, it helped run it in, and I like the way they started doing this. I thought the programs were over at a decent time every night, instead of being there till like 12 o'clock at night with 100 modifieds. But yeah, I'm sure it helped. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a new surface. I don't know what helped or hurt. Right, I don't have a clue, but I just know we saw some great racing. So shout out Volusia and whatever worked there. I could do without seeing 1,000 UMP mods, to be honest. But
yeah, new clay on the track broke records on the 360 and super late, plus just short with mods. Yeah, and listen, I mean, well, it's new to people who are. I mean, they applied this after Bike Week last year, so they had, I believe, a good portion of last year to break this kind of in.
They don't run a whole lot after Bike. Like that track is kind of dormant.
No, they kind of run weekly. It's just smaller divisions. Yeah, not like I don't think it's exactly weekly, but they do run throughout the year, like street stocks and like crate mods or crate late models. I think I have to look, but I they do have things scheduled throughout the year.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy actually that like there's track records were broken, but the racing we saw,
it was so slick and wide.
The best racing we saw was when it was wide and slower and slick. So whatever they figured out, whatever they did is what you're looking for, right? You start it with where it is. It's heavy, it's fast, but it slows down, gets wide and slick across. So Brandon, let me know if my mic volume is a little bit better there when you have a chance. But yeah, no, good stuff.
And he also says, New Clay made that track my favorite half mile so far. Saw that he was down there. That's pretty cool to get down there. Our buddy Jack was down there too. And, you see a lot of people from all over go on down there. You got your money's worth. That's for sure. Cause I know us at home, we were getting our money's worth as well. It was fantastic racing all week. And that's not something we usually say with Volusia. Usually we say one lane. It's
we're hoping for one. We're hoping for one good one.
Yeah. So Thursday gets rained out. We go to Friday, where Buddy Kofoid gets the win over David Gravel, Carson Macedo, Anthony Macri, Logan Schuart, Donnie Schatz, who was your hard charger, plus 15. Garrett Williamson, who won the dash and started on the pole, finishes 7th. Justin Peck, Cole Macedo, and then Spencer Based in 22nd to 10th. Is your top 10 there. Your quick time was David Gravel, and your heat race winners were Gravel, Peck, Carson Macedo, and Logan Schuart. Good battle between Kofoid and Gravel here. Came down to the end, and Buddy gets the best of them. And Carson Macedo looked pretty impressive all week. I think he was one guy that caught my eye. I mean, this was kind of your top 5. This top 5 of Kofoid, Gravel, Macedo, Macri, Schuart was kind of like your top 5 most of the week, to be honest. And the reason it wasn't the first night was because of the wreck between Schuart and Gravel, but definitely the class of the field. But Buddy and Gravel, first points night, going back and forth. Buddy just edges them out. Might be something to maybe some foreshadowing for the championship here.
And look, we talked about it. Buddy had to have a good Volusia week to get the season kicked off right because he struggled last year at Volusia. 2 nights, so far so good.
Yeah. For the posse guys, off of Macri there finishes 4th. Great week for him. We'll talk about him a little bit. Brock Zierfoss, finished 16th in the feature. Brett Marks finished P5 in the B main. Chase Dietz finished P6 in the B main, and Danny was a scratch. He was fighting just a lot of mechanical issues all week and just could not. Just would get him behind the 8 ball to the point where it's not even worth lining up for a B main or a C main or whatever they had. Oh, TJ Stutz was out there too. I forgot to write his positions down, but he was I don't think he made any feature that week. I don't remember, but
I don't think so.
but he was also out there, shaking things down. But yeah, Buddy Kofoid, David Gravel. That's going to be, obviously, it was the story of last year. I think it's going to continue to be a story of this year. So let's get to the finale on Saturday night, where Anthony Macri grabs the win, and he $20,000 for this race, and also brings home the points title for the brings home the Gator and brings home the week title, and is also technically tied for the World of Outlaw point lead, 3-way tie, I think, between him, Buddy, and Macedo.
Kofoid
Or
Macedo. Maybe you're right.
But so there you could already see them trying to or maybe it was Gravel, I don't remember. But you could already see them trying to push to get him signed on. But Macri gets the win here over David Gravel, Carson Macedo, Buddy Kofoid, Brian Brown, who won the dash, finishes 5th, Garrett Williamson 6th, Logan Schuhart, Brett Marks with a solid top 10 and 8th. Casey Alphabet finishes 9th. I'll figure out how to say his name. I'm not good at saying names, obviously. We know that. And Donnie Schatz finishes 10th. But your hard charger was Buddy Kofoid, plus 17, 21st to 4th. Hell of a recovery for him. Quick time was Logan Schuhart. David Gravel, Chase Dietz, Logan Schuhart, and Anthony Macri won the heats. Macri and Marks there in the top 10. Chase Dietz finishes 22nd, and Brock Zierfosh finished 27th. And Danny was another scratch. Yeah, this was... this might have been the best race of the week. Not being biased because a PA guy won it, but just really good battle there. And Anthony just fast all week, wins the title, wins the biggest race of the week. We had to hear from our buddy George on how we still sold him short, and we're going to hear that all year every time he wins a race by thinking he's only going to win like 15 races this year. It might be more. I mean, I expected him to be fast, but I didn't expect him to be this fast. I don't know why. I don't have any reason to not think that, I guess. You know what I mean? And he proved it this week.
Best race of the week, I think. I don't know if it was going to be. Like, he was kind of like the guy here, and then Gravel did what he does and was like, all right, I got this. That cut down off in 1 and 2 down to the bottom off of 2 was, man, what a move. Chase Dietz had to be like, man, I don't want to screw this up. He got stuck in the middle there, like, just stay straight. Can't imagine what it looked like from his seat watching those two go by. Like, holy hell, that's the lead. But phenomenal race. Listen, Volusia can be a wild ride, right? You can have a guy in the dash, and the next night he can be in the B, and you saw that with some people. Macri, Gravel, Macedo, Kofoid. Macri, Gravel, Macedo, Kofoid.
Yep.
That's what it is. This is what you're gonna see, and it's gonna be the outlaw points are gonna come down to this. How many finishes do you have outside the top 10? Not how many are in the top 10, not how many wins necessarily or top 5s. It's how many races do you finish outside the top 10? That's going to determine the season. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know. It's not even really a DNF battle at this point because, Gravel really did one?
Yeah, they don't really.
Macedo, right?
Yeah.
These guys don't DNF. They just don't. Their stuff stays together. They stay away from, accident. They stay out of wrecks. These are the best of the best, and it's going to be how many times you finish outside the top 10 will determine if you win a title or not. Common theme here. If you're an outlaw fan, these are the names.
Yep. Logan Schuhart with a 7th here. He was another guy, kind of battling up there. He first couple nights he was. I mean, all week he showed the same speed as the 4 guys we just talked about. I think he's another one to watch. And then Donnie Schatz, if they could figure out the early part of the night, he made a hell of a move in his heat race this night to because he qualified pretty poorly, but made a move on the opening lap to get himself into a transfer position so he didn't have to go to the B main. Started 19th here, still gets up into the top 10, another top 10 for Donnie. Looks really sporty there. Someone else that kind of that's not listed here, he had a bad wreck this night, but somebody that looked impressive was Brennan Crouch. He was kind of up there most of the week. Not necessarily battling for the lead, but he was a little bit faster than maybe some would expect, and showed some speed and was pretty solid all week. And just had I think someone broke in front of him and he hopped the tire and he just couldn't check up. And it was a pretty wicked wreck. Good to see him walk away from it unscathed. But he was somebody that is looks like maybe he could be turning a corner.
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. It's a long season. We'll see how it all goes. That car was absolute junk. Glad
Yeah.
to see him walk away because that thing was on all four frame rails were on the ground, all four corners. It was pretty scary. They're the ones that get people hurt. I bet he was feeling it next day or two here through the weekend. So glad he was okay. Hopefully, he's ready to go for the season. We'll see.
Again, Chase Dietz, solid week. Dave Scott Spencer says not a bad weekend for our team for our first time there. Absolutely not. Showed some speed. He started 8th in this one. I think I can't remember what happened to him, but they obviously fell back. Tanner Holmes looked decent at times this week. He started in the top 10 here, fell back. Tyler Courtney, good to see him back. He showed a lot of speed with the 360s.
Little quiet on the 410 front.
A little quiet on the 410 front.
We'll
a little bit, but he was solid. Spencer Baston goes 25th to 14th here. Decent Pursley got better as the week went on. Parker Price Miller won 20th to 12th here on the final night. Sheldon Hodenshield finishes 11th here on the final night. The rundown wasn't much different throughout the week. It was kind of he's kind of starting to see, maybe it's what we expected already. A couple surprises like Jetterzek, but you're kind of seeing, here's your top 10 guys, here's your 10th to 20th guys. But we'll see. I mean, it's only a couple races in. A lot of people are just shaking stuff down. In some cases here, first weekend with their new teams. So
Danny's washed, or are we calling it?
No. He's obviously
okay.
Had some gremlins.
You're not buying into that. All right. You told me before the show that it's over.
Emerson Axum. Another person who was impressive at times throughout the week was Hank Davis. He showed some speed. He was the one that I think that broke that ended up sending Brenham Crouch.
Yeah, Brenham jumped his right rear.
Yeah. But he's going to be a guy. He's not running the Outlaws full time, but he's going to be running them a lot, and they'll be an interesting card to follow. Connor Morell back. Scotty Thiel finishes 21st here on this night. He's a rookie with the Outlaws this year. Chris Wyndham looking solid, 15th place finish there. Just Ryan Timms was kind of up and down. This is kind of something. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. My camera just died, so we're gonna have to go this way for the rest of the way.
How does your camera die in the middle of this? Is it on batteries or?
Yeah, it uses more battery than it can charge when it's in use. So I have to change the battery, but I'm just not going to do that now at this point. So I'm just you can hear me.
Oh, I was joking. I didn't know you had a battery operated camera.
I do. It's my Osmo. Oh, it's coming back on.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I need to change the battery. Anyway, any final thoughts? Any other names that you have thoughts on here from the week?
No, it's just tough. I mean, the thing that stands out to me was again that top 5, just that consistently at the front of the top 5. Everybody else that didn't run the top 5, I'm not overly concerned about, like Ryan Timms and Tyler Courtney, and they're going to do what they do. It's just really that dominance of that top 5, man. They just head and shoulders. They just kind of separated themselves from everybody else, and who knows? Volusia can take people in different ways. Like Danny talked about, right? Every time he has a shitty Volusia, he comes home and kicks ass and has a great year. So
yeah, right.
Who knows? They all got to race a little bit and got on the racetrack, and whether they were cleared up some bugs or they found new ones or They just got to enjoy a little bit of warm sunshine. Not hot by any means, but warm sunshine.
Better than the
That's the
negative
season.
29-degree
The
wind
season,
chill that was here.
the season is now started. So
Yep. We got to wait a couple weeks until really the next race would be Icebreaker. They do go back for Bike Week the first weekend of March, I believe, would be the next time the Outlaws race. So we'll get another weekend. Well, I think it's like a Saturday and a Monday where the Outlaws will be down there. And then right after that, the High Limit Series will start. So we got a couple more weeks. That was a good little taste, a good little preview of what the season's going to be, and then we release, first weekend of March is kind of when things will start to get rolling, on a weekly basis, weather permitting. Let's get to a couple comments here. Brandon says Macri could be an outlaw point contender if he ran with them. He could, but as something Santos said here earlier, the Concrete King brings home the big gator. Really hope they can get some more sponsors on the car. So, that might be a reason. They don't really have a reason to not do what they've been doing. It's been working for them. But yeah, I agree. He would absolutely be a contender on any series that he would run. He has the talent. They probably just need to figure out if that's something that they want to do. I bet you could barely fit a piece of paper between Macri's left front tire and the infield tire coming out of 4. You sent that. I think somebody posted it on Twitter. The screenshot of it looked like he was running right into that huge infield tire, and how he didn't hit it. To seal that was a big reason why he was able to seal the win too, was that run. So Santos says kind of expected a little more from Sheldon than the 18 camp, but it was encouraging to see them get their early stuff right with great qualifying speed. Just got to figure out the feature stuff. Yeah, we'll see. Again, consistency is something that you won't really know until we're really into the season. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, but Jimmy, Sheldon and consistent don't go together.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. I'm talking in general though for everybody. Like you don't want to. You get a little preview of what the season's going to look like with Volusia and who has speed early on. A lot of things can change though, and it could be encouraged. Like you said, it's encouraging to see have some great qualifying speed, and again, in Sheldon's case here, you're right. His consistency. He's kind of like Baston a little bit, where they have speed, they could win a race, but then you might not even know that they're there for the next 2 or 3. So that's just something that they're gonna have to figure out. Santos also says, completely off topic, but did everyone see Celsius new merch? Looks awesome. We knew that combination with Chili's and everything. Chili's does a great job. They do a great job with Carson Hocevar, with his merch too. I think they have some great merch, and we kind of knew that they would do the same thing here with Gio Celsi. And yeah, they just posted some new stuff tonight or earlier today, I should say. It looks really good. Brandon Zirk says Danny stated he usually has a good year when he shuts the bed in Florida, just like San JZ. Car looked good though. BG got some good shots of him go over the 3 days. So hell yeah. Before we do drink it, we're gonna do drink it and dump it at the end of the night, just kind of off-season stuff. Any topics that we want to do, but we're gonna talk about
Jimmy,
something else first.
Wait, no, we're not. Let's just do drink it or dump it, and we'll save that.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, let's do
we'll
drink
get
it
out
and
of
dump
here.
it.
We'll do drink it or dump it. People can go watch this USAC feature.
Yeah.
And we can too. So go ahead if you have yours.
Well, I'm gonna read Matt Bird's here. First drink it of the show. Happy to have you all back. 2026 season is back at Volusia, so I have dirt track racing to watch versus YouTube videos. Dump it 2 more weeks till Icebreaker and RIP Chris. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a drink it. I think I want to drink it to. I have not thought of this one out. If you have something, you go first.
I can do that. I want to drink it to our local racetracks getting together with the common theme and goal of trying to solve the clear and obvious threat to our sport, which
Mhm.
is attendance. I will drink it to those tracks getting together and at least having a conversation and trying to take some actions. Trying to take action. Again, we've all talked at length about what we think about the Posse series, but I will drink it to them. At least there's effort being made. It's
Yeah.
not just talk. They're acknowledging that they know it, they hear it. They're the ones that probably are affected the most at this point financially. We as fans are trying to do everything we can to try to get other people to the racetrack. We want to see this live on. We want to see it go. So I will drink it to the tracks clearly acknowledging it and making attempts to try to rectify this. I will drink to that. Um, dump it, off season dump it, man. I don't know if there was a ton, but maybe this reaches beyond our dirt track world. Is Greg Biffle and his family?
Mhm.
Just sort of the racing world in general. Man, what a loss! It's not just Greg Biffle; it's his entire family. That's tough. That's a tough deal. So I will drink it to friends and family of Greg Biffle.
That's a good one. I was gonna drink it. I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of yours with the creation of the PA Posse Sprint Series. I think you're right. The idea and the thought is in the right direction. We'll see how it works out here this year. I'm sure they'll be making adjustments and everything. We'll learn a lot. Um, but I think it's a great move in terms of continuing to help. We have a really we talk a little bit about, at least privately, we have about like our proximity to tracks and how many tracks we have locally, and you have so many options if you're a race fan, to be honest. If you live in this area, especially here, but also other parts of the country, obviously. And but specifically here in PA, I mean, we there's an opportunity to you know do something different where they can really boost the attendance, and I think that's a great move. Um, dump it to um, hmm, um, just dump it to not a lot of racing in the off season. I can't watch that Australia shit. It's way too early. Um, Chili Bowl was awesome. I'll drink it to the Chili Bowl. I think that I had the most fun watching Chili Bowl and the shootout than I probably ever have. I thought it was really, really good this year. But yeah, just dump it to no racing, and I'm glad it's back.
Love it. Billy Dietrich, drink it to the halftime show. Love that. Love that for you. Hope you had a good time last night.
Let's see. Also, Brandon Zerk, drink it to Macri for bringing home the Gator. Dump it to DD for all the problems down in Florida. Brandon Gibson says, drink. Go ahead.
By the way, this whole Concrete King thing, just listen, it's not a big deal, but does it bother anyone else?
It doesn't have to be said every time.
We don't call anybody else the king for the rest of their life because they want a King's Royal.
Yeah.
We don't call them the king at every track they attend. I get it; it's catchy because of the Concrete Kid King.
Yeah.
I get it, but why can't we call him the Concrete Gator King or the Concrete the Gate? I mean, you want a Gator? Can we call him something with that from now on, or can we just call him Anthony Macri or the Concrete Kid again?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's played out already. I'm over it. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just annoyed. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old, Jimmy. I don't like fun anymore. I don't know.
You just don't like fun. No, I'm with you. I don't think we need to say it every single time he's out there on the track, to be honest. But
I think we'll honor it when it's time to
yeah.
honor it, right? He's going to be King Anthony Macri, the 69th, whatever. I don't know.
That's fair. Brad Gibson says, drink it to cold beer and dump it to DD's week. Mandy, drink it. Donnie Shots, racing being back. Good times at Motorsports Trade Show and Extravaganza. All the good paint scheme releases. Buddy's interview. Dump it to Modifieds being Modifieds at Volusia. Macri's car with the lack of sponsors. And Chris and the drums no longer being part of the show. I guess that's a good way to let everybody know that Chris has decided to leave the show permanently. Obviously he's been in and out here for a while. He needs to go do something different. He does have more things on the horizon, so keep an eye out. Wish nothing but the best for him and what he's doing, but that's where we're at there. So we'll go to Santos here next. Drink it to Macri, bringing home the big gator. Dump it to all the fans missing the big picture when it comes to pay-per-view streaming. Honorable mention to you guys, as always, for another great show. Thank you, Santos. We'll talk about. We were going to talk a little bit about the streaming stuff, but we'll talk about that maybe next week. We have some thoughts, but we'll
talk about that next week.
We'll talk
I want
about
to
it
gather
next
some more data. I want to gather a little more data before I'm certainly one to share my thoughts and feelings, and I can be wrong, but I feel like this one I want to make sure my thoughts are correct before I no matter what I say, good, bad, or indifferent. I feel like I have a good handle on what I'm feeling about it, but there's a couple things as we kind of went through the show today. I want to gather my thoughts a little more on it. So we'll talk about that next week.
Daniel Lee, Macri sets fast time, quickcrete. I love that. That's the quick
kid.
And Billy says, Billy Dietrich goes, "There's only one king in sprint car racing." It's true.
That's right.
And Brennan Gibson says, Macri's car looks like the Outlaw Game paint booth special without hood sponsors.
That's what I said. It looks incomplete. Like they rushed it, had it around, and had to pull a sponsor off, right? C&D Rigging or whoever. Or it looks like a base iRacing paint with some numbers slapped on it. Like it's not good. I don't think it's good with sponsors on it. I think it's awful this year. I don't know.
Santos says, for me, it's a big deal because it's the first time since Tyler Walker that a posse guy won the King's Royal. Jesus. He is now the concrete king to me. That's fine. It makes sense because what is
Brent Marks not posse? I mean, he's don't get more PA than Brent Marks, whether he was on the tour or not.
Santos, you got some explaining.
I'm just saying. Actually, he won the King's Royal the year he wasn't on a tour.
Doug said, "Yeah, no, you're right. It was when he was in between series.
True outlaw."
Yeah. Doug says, "Drinking to the temperature being close to 40 degrees later this week. Thank God we haven't seen. I don't think we've seen a temperature over 25 degrees here in a few weeks. I think even if it's 40 for the next couple weeks, it's going to be tough to get rid of all the snow and ice and everything for the next few weeks. It's going to be fun. But yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'm right there with you. Let's get some. It's going to feel like summer. It's going to feel like Florida here with 40-degree weather." Clayton says, "Drink it to some great races down under and in Florida. Dump it to concrete snowpack and cold temps in PA. Not looking good for an icebreaker as scheduled. Fingers crossed." Yeah, I agree. I don't know if it's going to happen. We'll see. We're going to need some really warm weather.
You get into mid-late February and 40 degrees, you'd be surprised how much melts with that sun angle. I know that's a weird thing, but the sun angle is a real thing. 40 degrees and a good sun, you would think we'd be surprised how much melts.
Yeah. And I'm just I just don't know.
I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful.
You're being optimistic. I don't know.
I am.
It's going to warm up, but it's not going to warm up that much. So, and we're already in February.
We've been at Lincoln many years when we didn't think it would happen, and they got one of the two in.
Oh, they've raced with snow on the ground. I mean,
yeah,
Williams Grove has raced with snow on the ground. You know what I mean? It's part of life around here.
Lincoln knows that people will show up. They know that people will show up for the race, so they're going to do everything they can to get that race in. It's a good draw for them.
Billy says, "I'm over the freezing weather, but it's not done with us." And then he also asked, "Do we get icebreaker in?" I don't know. We'll see. It's going to depend on the next few weeks of weather, but I'm gonna unless we have like a couple 50, 60-degree days right in a row and get rid of this fast. I don't know. I'm hopeful though. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna try to be optimistic. No more racing with snow on the ground. I agree. We don't need to be racing if it's 30 degrees out either. Todd says, "Sun don't hit as good, and the Pigeon Hill's going to be rough." We'll see. I mean, we got a couple weeks. Don't want to jump the gun yet, but I'm looking at the long-term forecast. I'm not as optimistic, but we'll see. I hope so. JS Westy says, can Billy Dietrich drive with one hand and run the throttle with the other hand? And yeah, that's really it. Thanks again.
Clayton Myers wants Billy to tow out to Merced for the NARC opener. Clayton, I don't know about that one. That might be a little bit of a trip.
Just a little bit.
Listen,
it'll be warmer.
That'd be wild if Billy did that. You need that. That needs to be documented on the YouTube channel. Is y'all driving across the country with that band of hooligans that you carry around? I think Seth has to go on that trip, and you got to have Seth in the truck for the whole trip. I'm all in for that.
All right, guys. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you everybody. Hey, like, share, subscribe, do something, help us out, keep this thing rolling.
Yes.
We appreciate it all. We appreciate y'all being here, and whoever's going to listen to this tomorrow, today, for you, today, tomorrow, one of them deals. We appreciate all of you.
Yes. Thank you all very much.